always. So today we're looking at Assault by Erno Müller, stanzas 5 and 6. Right, today's word of the day, vendetta, which is a noun, so it means a blood feud. You know, a feud is like a fight between two families, in which the family of a murdered person seeks revenge, or it could also be a prolonged quarrel or basically argument and stuff, conflict between groups or people. So, a wee example, the politician accused the media of pursuing a vendetta against him. And today's spelling word to add to your little bank for your spelling bee next Wednesday is terrorise. We certainly have a toddler in the house that likes to do that. Right, our usual cheesy pun of the day. I love you from my head to my toes. Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Right, little task to get your brains working as usual. So write down a list of nouns, you should know what nouns are, that people, places, things that you would expect or you could put into your own war poem. So we've been looking at war poetry this week. What words, what nouns could you use, store away in a little bank to create your own war poem? Alright, for example, soldier. Alexa, play. Alexa, stop. How did you get on? Have you come up with a few amazing nouns? Okay, so just in summary, this poem, Assault, explores the devastating effect of a gas attack, the appalling conditions that the men endured, and the drama and fear of life on a battlefield. So we're looking at stanzas 5 and 6 today. So stanza 5. The wind cut me with the skill of an executioner as it came roaring down the ridge towards which we were marching over the wall. Stanza 6. Then a whistle. Good luck, mates. Mind that hole. Through the wire. Over the top. And kill! God, this is fun. So, revising the questions that I've put up. Question 12. What do the words "the wind cut me" tell us about how the wind made the soldier feel? So just think about what the word cut means. So it's personification, which we all know about now. The personification suggests the wind is violent and brutal, because obviously if you cut yourself it's sharp and sore. So the sharp wind is physically hurting the soldiers. The weather is certainly making an awful situation even worse. Question 13. The wind is described as having the skill, sorry, that's the same question. What does it suggest about the strength? So carrying on. An executioner is someone who has the authority to kill another person. There's a wee picture of an executioner. You've maybe seen them in films and things. So this links back to the wind causing physical pain. So it's so extreme that it's almost like the wind, the soldiers feel that the wind is being sent down deliberately to intentionally hurt them. as well as everything else that's going on around them. So at this point, because they're getting bombarded by the weather, they're being bombarded by the soldiers, they're going to feel, you know, really low and depressed, and the morale and spirit would be really rock bottom at this point, because they would even think that nature was out to get them and attack. So question 14a, pick out the example of onomatopoeia, roaring. In your own words, explain what the poet is telling us about the wind by using that sound. So just as we expect fierce animals or monsters to roar, the description of the wind implies the ferocity, that means the fierceness and speed with which it confronts the men, almost like it's attacking them head on. Alright, so another little task for you. I'm just going to carry on, and just, if you're watching this back, you can pause it at this point rather than me disappearing, because I'm a wee bit late today, there's nobody here watching me. So I'm just going to pause, you know, I'm not going to bother stopping the video, just pause it yourself on YouTube if you're watching it back. So as it came roaring down the ridge, as well as onomatopoeia, what other sound technique is used here and why is it effective? So if you want to pause while you work out the answer and come up with it, and then I'll just go over it now. So as it came roaring down the ridge, alliteration of R is used. So remember, that's a harsh sound that could portray the speed and force of the wind. Alright, so it's roar. I can even make it, you know, the sound that it's reflecting. We also get the idea, because it's described as roaring down the ridge, so it could suggest the enemy approaching, you know, head on, that's coming right at them, just like a real enemy would. Stanza 6, question 15. Identify 3 actions the soldiers had to perform for the assault. So it's one of these 3. It says, mind the hole, go through the wire, climb over the top, and kill. So any one of those. And why do you think the writer includes 2 lines of direct speech in this stanza? What impact does it have? So there's 2 examples. So one is, good luck mates. So that line is likely to have been said, like it's an actual quote from the soldiers to each other, because you wouldn't know if you would see each other alive again. So that would obviously help to boost morale and reassure the soldiers that they weren't on their own and that they were all in it together, really. So that line was probably said as they were launching into the attack or the assault. But the second line, God, this is fun. Obviously, that's unlikely to have been said, because from the descriptions of war so far, it certainly doesn't sound like fun, right? So this has probably been added on by Müller at the end. You know, this has not actually been spoken on the battlefield, so this is perhaps retrospective, which means looking back. So it's been added on, perhaps to sort of suggest his opinion about war. So because it's obviously all negative descriptions all the way through, the word fun suggests happiness and enjoyment, which is certainly not here. It's very negative, and you know, the appalling conditions and the fear of the soldiers. So it's been used in this way by Müller to create a sarcastic tone. It's not actually fun as such. So this line is unlikely to have been said, whereas the previous line, good luck mates, that certainly would have been said. So now that you've studied the poem closely, what is the overall impression the poet gives of war? Are they for it or against it? So back it up with a quote. So any quote would apply, you know, any of the description of the gas or the fear or, you know, kill, anything like that would suggest a negative. So the poem focuses on war's devastating effects. So it's obvious from that Müller condemns war, so that means that he's very much disapproves of it and believes it's an immense waste of human life. So just a couple of final things to note for today and the end of the poem, just that it includes personal pronouns, so I and we, which suggests that this is a first-hand experience. So Müller may well have fought in the war, or he could just be personifying a soldier, you know, just using his creativity. Just like if you were writing your own war poem, you've not fought in a war, apart from a pandemic, but you know, you would just imagine it, so it's a creative piece. So just because it's written in first person with I doesn't suggest it's necessarily a first-hand experience, but perhaps it could be. So it may well be that he could have lost friends or relatives in an actual war, and this is just his way of pouring down his thoughts on paper and dealing with his emotions. There's also no regular rhyming pattern in this poem at all. You know, sometimes you have rhyming couplets throughout a poem, or there's a regular rhythm, but there isn't in this. And that may well reflect maybe the fact that in life we don't know what's coming ahead of us, you can't always plan it, or it could just be to mirror and reflect the panic and chaos of a battlefield. And that's why, you know, maybe the first stanza with the lines of the poem, the second stanza maybe would be deliberate because of the gas and the movement of the lines, but in the last couple of stanzas it certainly just doesn't seem to have a regular pattern, which could just suggest it's mayhem. Alright, and that's us finished annotating assault, or analysing assault, sorry. Today's lesson is going to be tomorrow's lesson is going to be how to annotate a poem. So that's making all your notes on it and the importance of trying to keep it all in one place. And I'll talk a wee bit more about that tomorrow. Alright, if you haven't done so, you know what to do. Please like and join my Facebook and YouTube channel. That's the link if you aren't on Facebook. You just pause it there and get the codes for Google Classroom. And if you'd like to say thank you for all the lessons I've been doing over the last few weeks, that's what to do. Alright, have a fab day everyone. Bye. Alexa, play.